Hello and welcome to That Geek Pod. I'm Catherine and I'm here with Andy. How you going, Andy?
Hello, Catherine. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, but there's a mysterious third person in the room.
Are we haunted by ghosts again?
No. Who are you?
I'm the person who's working the controls here. So it's Josh Chapman here from Star Wars. Spelled out. Hello.
It's our good friend Josh.
And I've got interlopers in my lounge room. And we're going to watch Rogue One and we're going to do the commentary on it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to be the commentary like when Arnold Schwarzenegger does commentaries, but he just describes everything that happens in the movies. Like right now you can see I am walking down the stairways and they can't catch me. They don't know where I am.
Yes.
So we're just gonna do it just like that, right?
I remember this scene. I had 2 workouts that day.
But not even that. That would actually be interesting. He literally just explains what happens. As you can see now, the Terminator is trying to do this, and then he just walks down the. Yeah. So we're just doing the last little setup here.
Yeah.
And then Catherine's going to count us in.
Oh.
Sorry, I was going to say, we're watching, for people at home, we're watching the Blu-ray.
Yep. Of Rogue One. It's looking beautiful on Josh's big screen.
It is. We've kicked my pregnant partner out into the kitchen to watch The Bachelor.
We're good people, all right?
So she volunteered in our defence. So that wasn't my idea. But we were going to be in the study on the computer screen. I just said, I reckon we can convince her to go out there. So we've got our popcorn and we've got our...
Yep, drinks.
Yep.
Drinks are nearby.
Yeah. So just before we start, quick, how do we think about Rogue One? Do we love it, hate it, or meh?
Oh, no, it's good. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I watched the ending, the last half an hour quite recently.
Yeah.
I was sort of on Netflix and I was like, I'm just going to watch the last half an hour battle. I was like, geez, this is good.
It's really good.
So it'll be good to just go through from the start and kick it off, really.
I love this movie. I think it's my favourite.
It's your
It is my favourite of the Disney era.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So here we go. 3, 2...
We've got copyright stuff at the moment.
Ooh.
So I just thought I'd start it and it'll be easy. So get your Blu-rays ready.
Yeah, we'll count you in.
Well, if we can. Blank.
Okay, so we've got the Lucasfilm logo.
I can't remember. It has a long time ago in a galaxy far, far. It does.
There it is. So here we are. Long time ago, galaxy far, far away.
And then no crawl and no Star Wars.
Yeah, and just that sudden hit of music.
So did you guys know going in that there was no crawl? Or was it just kind of assumed that there wasn't?
I didn't know, but I suspected there wouldn't be.
I kind of had a hint because there was a lot of talk about it's going to be a different movie and stuff. So I wasn't surprised.
Really? I still kind of thought, they're going to need one. They're going to need to sort of explain what's going on. But, I was a little bit surprised because it was quite jolting, that sort of like, kind of, don't.
Yeah, don't. And you're right there.
Yeah, kind of gave me a bit of a scare. I'm like, oh,
this is beautiful.
Is that the first beach in Star Wars right there?
Yeah. Trying to think the prequels.
We're on a beach.
Oh, yes. Very good, Andy. Well done. Can't forget about our buddies.
I love that little robot because he's also a security camera.
But that shot of the shuttle coming in over the planet's just beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. No. Especially going through the rings of the planet. Oh. That's cool.
Yeah. I do like how those rings are sort of sliding across the screen like the crawl did, but...
I do like the ship too. It's sort of like the proto-Tiderian shuttle, isn't it? The awesome Return of the Jedi shuttle, and then you've got the proto sort of mini version that Krennic shows up in.
It's a great Lego set as well. It's one of my favourites.
There's the gratuitous blue milk. Well, it's all about green milk these days, isn't it? Poor old blue milk doesn't even get much of a look in. It's funny how that television technology is still so rubbish. They've got spaceships and things, but they're still showing up on these crummy little analogs. And
now here's probably one thing that's like, wait, what? They park so far away.
A very long way away. They park like my mum did going to the NBL games in the 90s.
Where would she park?
So the games were at what's it? Rod Laver Arena, she'd park at the art centre every time.
Oh wow, that's like a massive.
Centre.
That's about 2 kilometers. That's about 2 kilometers away.
Yep.
That's actually.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say, she parked at the MCG or something like that. But
compared to
Parked
Richmond.
at the art centre.
right, well, that is the equivalent.
There you go.
Like Mendo has basically done the equivalent of parking at the art centre to go to the basketball right now because he has parked a long way away. But I think when Ben Mendelsohn was on Steelboard's podcast, he was a bit like it's an intimidation thing.
Yeah.
He's that cocky. He wants you to know that he's there. He wants you to know that you can't. There's nowhere you can really go.
I want you to wait for me.
Yeah. Which actually isn't true because there was somewhere that she could go.
That's right.
And there was we never really learned more about Jin's mother. I don't know in the books and stuff. Is there much info?
We did.
Yeah.
She's not a Force user, is she?
No,
No.
she just believes.
She studies the kyber crystals.
Yeah.
And so learns a bit that way.
Yeah.
So is that sort of where he gets the idea for the kyber crystals for the lasers and stuff? Is it sort of her idea sort of thing? She's like, hey, these kyber crystals can do some pretty sweet stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
I remember
Mendo.
this part in the cinema, you just hear Steele, Mendo.
And then the whole rest of the cinema joined in.
Though some people near me were like, huh?
I do like how he has like his little Parker version of his outfit
It's
as
great.
I guess he's a bit younger here too, isn't he? So
Yeah.
he's got a bit of Just for Men in the hair.
I hear his Aussie accent in this part.
I like
He's
it.
just like, oh, mate.
But I think that's sort of that he's still a bit more working class here. You know, he hasn't spent enough years in London. He hasn't rubbed the accent out. You know, I spent 10 years in London, and you know, by the time you come back, everyone's like, oh, you got an English accent, or you talk like Kylie Minogue. You know, Kylie Minogue doesn't have a refined Australian accent anymore.
Yeah.
But I just assumed that Krennic was, you know, working class boy. You know.
Yeah.
He had his accent a bit, but then in order to rise up the ranks, he had to sort of polish it off a little bit, talk a bit more posh.
Yeah, because he came from a not wealthy background, so he's had to work his way up into the Imperial Army.
They talk a little bit about that again in Catalyst. I think my favourite book also.
It's still my favourite. Now, we got the Death Troopers here. How cool was that armour?
Yeah, they move very
But you never know,
nicely.
like, what are they saying? Because their talk is muffled.
And they're all really tall too.
Yeah.
So the prerequisite obviously is that you have to be tall.
You have to be very tall.
It's a little bit. You're not going to get a short death trooper, just like one guy who's 5 foot.
Yeah.
In the background.
See, I also see
here we
it
go. There's line. Look, he's Lyra.
Back from the dead.
It's a miracle.
Slime ball.
As it's like their SAS. So I think the reason their speech is muffled is so they don't be ID'd. So you don't know who they are.
So it's like you can't go, that's the bloke who sort of...
Yeah,
right. I know, I can understand that. Although all the stormtroopers kind of sound the same anyway.
Exactly.
They really probably doesn't really make that much difference. But, the Death Troopers were definitely cool. But then I think originally they had like green lights on them and stuff. I think in some of the toy packaging they have green lights on
the
the...
little green, I've got a Hot Toys one and it lights up the green
on the
helmet.
And just never made it to the final cut.
Yeah.
She's not much of a shot from 5 feet away, though, is she?
Well, she'd been shot first.
That's true.
And she wasn't that far off.
I haven't fired a blaster. I couldn't tell you, exactly what that might happen. So I think this is Iceland that they shot this.
Yeah.
Now I have been to Iceland, and this is what Iceland looks like. There's a lot of volcanic rock. I didn't see any trapdoors though, but there was a lot of very green things protruding out of black rock. I don't think there was that huge expanse of sort of nothing. I think that's digital, but certainly that bit, like this sort of stuff is very Iceland.
So cool, that Stormtrooper doll. That
Yeah.
Stormtrooper
Very
doll.
cool.
Yeah.
And of all the toys to give your kid.
Well, they grew up with the Empire, so she...
Yeah, I suppose actually maybe
they
you
would.
just get your army issue Stormtrooper
And the Empire
dolls.
would have merch.
Yeah, well, that's right.
They're promoting themselves.
They put it on everything. Yeah, it's very, very Iceland looking right there.
Yeah.
I don't know where this was shot exactly. I didn't really do my research and stuff, but I definitely saw some things that looked a bit like that.
I thought this child actor did a really good job.
Yeah, and you could definitely see, Felicity Jones in there as well. Like, in the mouth and things. But yeah, she did a great job in the couple of scenes she's in. She really did.
Now, is this the biggest time jump in a Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
Do other Star Wars movies have?
I don't think Solo does, but
that's
I don't.
3 years.
I don't think it's as big as this because he's already kind of old enough. But this is obviously, I don't know, was it 20 years, 15 years? And here's the
here's
title.
the iMovie intro.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice, wasn't it? Although the Solo one actually but it's similar to that. It's just done a bit cleverer, isn't it? And a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it, but it kind of just starts close and fades away as well.
Yeah.
So,
but just even the score, it's like no.
And now we have grown-up Felicity Jones.
Yeah.
Had she won an Oscar already by this? She is an Academy Award. Didn't she win?
I think she was nominated.
She didn't win?
Yeah.
She was
definitely nominated for was it Theory of Everything?
The Stephen Hawking one.
Yeah.
She didn't actually win it, though?
I don't think so. I can do a Google.
We do some live Googling here. It's a pretty rotten cellmate you'd want to share with over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that creature that she's bunked with is part of a little gang. And in Catalyst, the book, there was dialogue between... I think it was Catalyst. No, in the novelization of the movie, they were threatening each other to kill each other, and she was just like, "Oh well, I'm going to bed. So if you want to do it, you do it then." Because she was just so down in the dumps.
Oh right, she said,
"Hello, Cassian."
Here is Cassian, Captain Cassian.
I think he's one of my favourite characters. He is
good.
I love the characters in Rogue One, but he is up there because he's, the shades of grey. I do like the shades of grey in everyone.
Such a missed opportunity not putting him in Rebels, I think.
Yeah.
I think there could have been some real opportunities for some real crossover stuff of having him, of learning more about his backstory and, and he would have easily been able to slot into them. I mean, they deal with, the Rebel Alliance in one form or another, really. It just seems like such a waste of a character that he's only sort of in this one thing. He might, Star Wars, like, people can pop up in things all the time, but...
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised with what happens to this guy? I was a bit shocked. I'm like,
it's a way to introduce Cassian as, who he is. That he's...
a sort of a win-at-all-costs kind of dude.
Yeah. I was like, Rebels don't do that.
How tall do you think he is?
I don't think he's that tall.
I'm on IMDb.
She's like, I've got to find out if Felicity Jones won an Oscar here. Then I've got to find out how tall... I forgot the actor's name. Diego...
Luca, yeah. So she was nominated, but didn't win. Yeah.
Well, it's an honour to be nominated, Catherine, as you know.
Yes.
Yeah, this part here. He's like, it's okay, buddy. You'll be all right. In the back. Oh.
Yeah, well, he was going to slow him down, wasn't he?
But you can tell from his look, he's like, I'm sorry, I hate doing this, but it's what I got to do.
The information's more important. And it would have been nice to see him with the Rebels cast because, the Rebels cast, let's face it, they were all pretty...
straight up and down?
Yeah, whereas he's not.
I mean, maybe they did think it was like, maybe he's a little bit too of a...
Hugh and Jeddah.
Complicated to put into a kid's show, but I don't know about that. There's plenty of other bad blokes. Yeah, there's Jeddah. There's the big Jedi statue.
Ezra. Oh, wait, those early rumours. My apologies. Two tubes.
Some awesome designs in here.
I love that creature dude at the back. The big... I don't know, he's like a big white fluffy bear guy.
So is Bodhi Rook.
The pilot.
Good character.
Yeah, I think he got quite a lot of extra play in the reshoots, apparently. We should mention that, a lot of this movie was reshot quite a lot. Although it's never really been clear exactly what. I think the ending a lot, obviously, like in the trailers and things, there was a lot of different things that kind of how that kind of played out.
I definitely think that ending, because they were talking about originally there was a whole other thing that they were going to do, and that kind of got cut out. That's so cool, that shot of the Jedi.
Do you reckon that's a big one that's fallen over, or do you think it's just...
it looks like it's fallen.
It's just been built into the...
They've either blown the bottom and it's just collapsed.
It looks so, like, perfect, though, hasn't...
Because they've mined the planet, like the Empire's mined it.
Yeah. It would be nice to go back to Jeddah
in an extended story,
You know, Ryan Johnson, he could be doing some other stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go there. I mean, the sets probably still aren't there anymore, but it's funny seeing a stormtrooper sit down.
Yeah, it looked awkward. I do like the little conversation.
I always just think of Han when he's in the, they've got the outfit and he's kind of lounging back a little bit. That's kind of thing. Well, if you're going to sit in a stormtrooper outfit, you kind of got to lounge back a bit. He was sort of just sitting forward, like he was sort of trying to kind of, like my 2-year-old does when she's 3, while she sits on the toilet trying to. There's always a temptation when the action's on the screen is to just get caught up in the action, isn't it, really? And it's K2SO.
Yeah, we get the introduction of him. My favourite character in the film.
Yeah.
Do you have any KTSO merch?
Yep, I got the Black Series.
So it was...
And I've got his Lego...
Was Cassian with them when they rescued her?
Minifig.
Like, why is K2 with those guys if Cassian's not there? Oh, no, this is a set. I love the Yavin set. How it's just sort of a expansion of the OG 1970s one. It's just fantastic.
It's just beautiful.
I really hope that they didn't take it apart and that it exists somewhere. It's been shipped off to Star Wars World or something that you'll be able to just... That would just... I would love to walk through... Like when you play Battlefront 2 and you get to play that. That's just awesome to run around that set.
And the big circular operations...
Yeah, I just can't imagine that after this movie they chucked any of this out. Like, the recreations are too good. They must have just put them away somewhere in a nice little storage somewhere that they've got it down at Lucasfilm.
Well, this is the thing. A lot of these film studios do keep props and sets and everything. They sort of... Mon Mothma.
And that's the Mon Mothma from...
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge
and
of the Sith. Same. Yeah. Gwendolyn... I was going to say Gwendolyn Christie. That's not right. I really should have done like I said, the second time I said, I should have done more research. But she must have been very chuffed to be asked back after getting cut out of Revenge of the Sith.
She was also voiced in Rebels.
So it was her who did her own voice in Rebels as well. And she sort of aged perfectly, didn't she, really, from the time it's almost the exact time between...
It really is,
and when this is set, that she could just slot right back in. I wonder if the lady who played Mon Mothma originally is even around anymore.
I don't think so.
She has done the conventions, but she's like a proper English actress, so she...
I think you were going to say she's a proper old lady.
Oh, no. Just like she's very, I just did this movie.
A gig is a gig.
A gig is a gig, that type of stuff. I'm not sure where I heard it from, but there was like an interview clip I heard, and yeah, it's not really her thing. She just did a film. But she does appreciate people going, oh, I'm glad you liked my performance.
Yeah, well, she must have, especially for Return of the Jedi, like Star Wars was a pretty big deal by then, so she must have known that it was a big deal. But it's not quite like, like Richard E. Grant, who's going to be cast in, who's just like, I can't wait, I'm so excited, this is the greatest day of my life.
Legit in tears. But yeah, this actress does a great job.
Yeah, and I love how all the actors, they look 70s, how they grew their mows and the hair to look real
blue
70s
leader
again.
with the moustache.
It's great.
Caroline Blackenston played Mothma originally.
Oh, there you go.
She's still around. She's 85 years old. She was born in 1933. So when did Jedi come out? So she must have been about 50. So she was about 50 when she was the Mon Mothma originally. Well, that's interesting because then Genevieve O'Reilly is 41. So even though Jedi takes place, 3 years later? There's a 10-year difference between how they were when they played the thing.
Well, there's 3 years between New Hope and Empire. It's debatable how long Empire actually goes for, and it's debatable how long there is between.
I mean, Space Jimmy Smith.
Oh, there's Jimmy Smith. Yeah. It's...
it was fantastic seeing him again.
But he doesn't. He looks exactly the same. He doesn't.
He does not
he's been
age.
pickled in vinegar or something.
Yeah.
He doesn't age, Jimmy Smits.
No. Yeah, he looks the same as he did in NYPD Blue.
And even when he was on a season of Dexter, I'm like, he just looks the same.
And there was the ghost in the top right corner.
That's
then.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw Ghost.
And then there was the first of the U-Wings there as well,
Yeah,
which I've got a
love the
Lego
U-Wing.
U-Wing, which is in my
So
study, which
good.
is still hasn't been assembled. It's still sitting in the box.
I'm sure you'll get around to it, Josh.
One day when I get the time, I always complain about not having time for anything.
But yeah, no, it's a good ship. Yeah.
I know there's been one comic with Cassian and K2SO, but I definitely want more with the two of them and more Cassian.
Have you read those?
Rebels, they absolutely missed a trick not putting him in Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not about them, but
Yeah, I reckon they should have done that. Like, they gave us a little hint when they met Saw Gerrera, and they were chasing,
just look at
what are the
Cassian.
plans?
Look at that man. Put him on the big screen.
he isn't a very tall man, though, is he?
No.
No. But he doesn't need to be tall.
No, you don't need to be tall. I'm just...
Yeah, it's an opportunity lost.
He was in Dirty Dancing 2, Havana Nights.
Oh, was he the Dirty Dancer?
Yep.
Well, he was in...
I've never been so tempted to see that movie before.
That can't be true. They're saying he's 1.78 metres, which is just under 180 centimetres, which is only slightly shorter than me, and I'm nearly 6 foot. That cannot be true. That he's wearing... That's Tom Cruise information right there. He can't... That Wikipedia is lying.
Could be on high boots there.
No, but he looks shorter, though. Like, when they measured him for Wikipedia, I think he must have been wearing Tom Cruise lifts or something.
Oh, look at that man. Ah.
And, of course, Alan Tudyk playing K2SO.
I just like watching his eyes, because even though they're just like lights, like you can see the movements.
It's an amazing technical achievement because it was Alan Tudyk there. And
Yeah,
they just
because he's in act, and
replaced him.
he didn't have to get into a suit like for like C-3PO. He actually just put on like little bulbs, and then sitting there saying the lines, and then they just
he was
went
in
over
Lycra.
There's the dude in the tower.
classic
Yep.
guy in the tower.
I'm not quite sure what they do there, but
Yeah, it's
Check retro, mate.
does look like a bit of a speed camera.
makes enough sense.
Mr.
Really.
No feet.
And they never, even though we saw on Rebels, they never explained the lack of legs
Well,
or the breathing.
we didn't get there. I can't remember how far we got with him. No, he still had his limbs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Had
something
his
happened.
legs.
So something
quite
happens.
in between, really, didn't
Yeah.
they?
And considering sort of how close Rebels was coming to New Hope, it was a bit surprising. Oh, this isn't a bash Rebels night.
No, we like Rebels. We're not,
No, we
can't try to bash
do
Rebels.
like Rebels. Yeah, this scene I had a few issues with.
Is this Ball Gullet? Or does that come a little later?
Or Ball Gullet comes after this.
Yeah, I do feel Forrest Whitaker's a little underused in this film, though.
Yeah.
Considering how good he is, and I think there was a lot. I think that's one of the other things of kind of that was suggested that there was more stuff that was recorded for him that kind of didn't make it or was changed, was moved around and stuff as well. So
Yeah.
go, more Forrest Whitaker the better, really.
Because, there was a
a whole bunch where he had the
monologue.
shaved head,
Yeah.
he was supposedly younger, I suppose.
Yeah, because he had the shaved head when he saved Little Jin. And there was a whole monologue he was delivering in one of the trailers that wasn't in.
Now, is that a
in the
drug
movie.
he was just sniffing? Because his nose just got big and...
No, it's oxygen. He needs oxygen to keep... It's basically like a respirator like Vader has, but a more low-tech version.
Why does he need it?
We don't know. They
Well, he's got
never
no
explained
legs,
it.
so, he's probably...
He's
'Cause I
been
thought
messed
it was
up.
This is
drug
the
and
trailer
he's
shot,
just-
isn't it? This is the one that we had the Star Destroyer coming out of the shadows. And that is just your classic
That is
Star
awesome.
Destroyer right there. That's your
And then
1977.
Death Star reveal. Installing the satellite dish.
Mendo.
And here it comes.
I heard a very good story about Tarkin that was sent to me today from our friend Steele Saunders. That's going to be on one of his podcasts that we're doing a video for.
Oh, cool.
I won't spoil it on here, but when you hear it, you'll know the one I'm talking about.
Sizzle.
About the reveal of Tarkin.
See, I like the reflection. That's cool.
And I think...
And I remember the gasp.
Yeah.
I remember the gasp when he turned around.
Well, the story relates to that, and we could sit here for 3 days, and you would never guess how the story plays out. It's pretty incredible. But there he is. There's Peter Cushing. There he is, back from the dead.
Yeah.
But I know a number of people who did not know that this wasn't Peter Cushing.
Yeah, a mate of mine
this wasn't
was like,
original
wait, what?
Tarkin.
And I'm like, yeah, he's been dead for a long time. So I love the shadows, and he's just the little...
It still looks slightly CG to me. I still really love it, but I heard a story the other day on, I think it was one of the podcasts that Tony Martin's on, and they were talking about the CG Peter Cushing, that when they were doing this, there as a film, have you ever seen the film Top Secret with Val Kilmer?
Yeah.
And Peter Cushing is in that, and there's a gag where he's basically because he played Sherlock Holmes. It was like a Sherlock Holmes. Right. And he walks into the thing, and he's holding up a magnifying glass, and his eye looks really big. And the joke is he takes his magnifying glass down, and his eye's still really big. And it's just like he's just got a big eye. And then it turned out that the supervisor it might have been John Knoll from RLM, was like, in order to do that, they must have done
Flashback to Coruscant.
Yeah, they must have done a face task.
Mendo
Peter
drinking.
Cushing. And it turned out that for Top Secret was in the 80s, they had made a face cast of Peter Cushing. So they found it in the archives.
Yes, I've heard about this.
And then they had a perfect thing of his face from
and they
1983 or whatever, which
and
is
they just did a
scan.
3D scan.
Yeah.
I think, it was a podcast or something.
Yeah.
I think it was the one, it might have been the team effort one that Tony Martin and Ed Cavalier and Lockie Hume and those guys. But I heard it quite recently.
Yeah.
So.
It was very recent. Yeah.
And that's how they sort of got, because normally you do a face cast of the actor, but, obviously Peter Cushing's not around anymore.
Yeah.
So
How far away from like that Mission Impossible mask technology are we? Take a scan of someone's face, turn it into a mask.
Oh, sorry. I had to think.
He's going, close, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely. At least for movies.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what kind of crazy contracts you have to sign now to be in a movie where they're like, if we want to bring Jyn Erso back in 100 years, we want to be able to have our CG Felicity Jones that we can just pop in there.
That's why they've got to do them now. More Rogue One characters. I love the architecture on Jeddah. It's so cool and different. Yeah.
It would be great to see it in its prime.
And like, what is the story with Jeddah? Because it had this Jedi temple. What's the story with it? It had all these, guardians. And Jeddah City.
It's got a very sort of Jerusalem-y feel, the sort of, cradles of religion places and stuff, the way that it's designed and things. But it's just a great image with the Star Destroyer sitting right above it there.
I like the sunset. Or was it morning? I think it's morning.
Well, how many days do you think Rogue One goes over? Like, how long do you think it feels like it's very quick.
Yeah, a couple
feels like
of days.
2 days, 3 days max sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the snark that K2SO, that was getting heaps of laughs that first night, and I still laugh at it.
He landed pretty much spot on. So we obviously all saw this down at Knox.
Yep.
In, it was, nearly 2 years ago now.
Yeah, 2016.
Seems like a long time. It was a bit funny, wasn't it? Because you just came off, obviously, Force Awakens, which was such a different sort of experience. And then it was like, they were just jumping straight into these, spin-offs. What are they going to be? And
how are they going to go?
He's your favourite, Andy.
Oh, my God.
Poor gullet.
It's a pretty terrifying looking thing, isn't it, really?
It's just bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
As I was saying before, like, he's telling him, I've heard from Galen. These are the things. These are the plans. You know, I'm not lying to you. And then he's like, oh, this, you know, you need to see Bull Gullet too, so I know you're telling the truth. It's like, he's been telling the truth the whole time. You're not listening.
He's a pretty paranoid guy, though.
Yeah. He's very
So in
very
the
paranoid.
Dr. Afra comics at the moment, there was a Bull Gullet in one of those
really?
quite recently.
Yeah.
Where she was being interrogated by a Bull Gullet as well. But I don't know, she sort of fooled it by not giving away. She kind of had, you know, because Dr. Afra's got a lot of secrets, so she sort of gave away one that wasn't as bad as the other ones that she had in order to sort of to beat the test and stuff. I was like,
So,
okay, they're doubling down on Bull
How does
Gullet.
a Bull Gullet work?
I think it's just it just gets in
It's
your head.
attached to
And,
your head?
Yeah, it does. I'd have to get the comic out. It does actually say, like,
Jesse.
it basically just knows the things you're trying to suppress the most and basically makes you bring them out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the creature's not actually
That's
talking.
details, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. It basically just forces you to, yeah. Oh, so the details, was it?
Yeah, details is
Yeah.
the red robot.
Oh, and there's Dr.
No, okay, that was a bit of a groan.
Look how big his head is. That can't be right.
No, I'm assuming that's not the same actor, is
Oh,
it?
no.
It couldn't be.
No. I think he had already passed.
He pops up in a lot of in the Dr. Afra stuff as well, actually, Dr. Evazan. He's like he experiments on, like, he does crazy surgeries and things on people, and he's like his bag.
Makes sense.
So I think they might even mention that he was spotted on Jeddah and then he's been spotted
left.
on Tatooine.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just kind of, you know, he's got the death sentence on 12 systems. You guys might not know this or
That's
not,
right.
but
Yeah. You better watch yourself.
You'll be dead.
You'll be dead.
Now, did his mate ever get a replacement arm?
Well, that sounds like an EU Legends
Yeah,
story now, doesn't it? I'm sure there's probably
I don't think I've heard
there's probably an
anything
EU
recent.
Legends book that goes into that in great detail.
It's our introduction to Chirrut.
And may the force of others be with you. Did we like this take on the may the force be with you? Like a little bit
pretty
different?
fresh.
Yeah.
Now, Donnie Yen is a big star. Both these guys are big stars
Yeah.
in Asia, aren't
Massive stars. Yeah.
they? I'm not sure if I've seen them in anything before. Donnie Yen, I'm sure it's one of those things where you go, oh, he was in this and this. And, you know.
Ip Man series movies, he's good in those.
Don't think
That's
I've
all
seen
I know
those.
from him. The other guy I haven't seen. Unless he was in Kung Fu Hustle, but I'm not too sure.
The soccer one?
No, Kung Fu Hustle is about the this gang, and they have meat cleavers, or the axe gang, they're called. And there's this poor town, and there's this kung
Was
fu
it like
guy.
Seven Samurai sort of
Sort
thing?
of, yeah, but it's
Okay.
very funny.
What am I thinking? Oh, Shaolin Soccer, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
you're
of.
thinking of that
About
one.
the Kung Fu
Same
one.
actors in that.
Oh, is
as
that?
in this
Yeah,
one.
right.
But yeah, it's very different. But it's very cool. But yeah, that's the only background I have on him. That's those cool tanks.
The Ranger. What's the tank? Is this called Tank Trooper? I can't remember.
Yeah, the tank trooper on the top there. Yeah.
They're going to run out of Stormtroopers variations soon, aren't they? Really?
I don't think so. They can find.
They got
all
these
types.
guys, and they had the Death Troopers, and then Han Solo they had like the Mud Trooper and
Yeah,
the Range
Min
Trooper.
Bun trooper with the cape.
Yeah.
That Black Series, so cool.
So we're getting
Hey,
Oh,
ready
there's
for
Warwick
the ambush.
Davis.
There's Warwick Davis. But yeah, this scene just shows you that Saw would do anything, even if it means like harming civilians
Yeah.
locally.
And the far more sort of guerrilla tactics than what we were used to with the rebels or the Rebel Alliance.
Well, yeah, because it's endangering civilians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That up close, personal.
Does it really explain why this planet is so important for Saw to even be rebelling on it?
Well,
particularly?
they're
Is it
getting the kyber
the crystals, but does he care about that, or is he just sort of like the Empire's here, they're nearby? I'm just
Well, I think they're stealing it from them so they can use weapons against them.
right.
I think that's how I take it.
No,
Because they wouldn't be like, we're taking the crystals back because they belong here. It's like, well, okay.
But Saw doesn't seem to care about
No,
the integrity of
I
the
don't see him as
Jedi
an
or anything like
artist
that.
or
Or
anything.
even just like they belong to the Jedi or whatever.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just seems to be like, oh, this is where the Empire seemed to be having a bit of a base of operations.
He would
So,
want to
Yeah.
use it against them.
Yeah, he'd be seeing
Oh,
that.
oh,
this is-
shot him in the,
Crotch
in the
shot.
nads.
Oh,
Some very good practical
Yeah.
effects going on here. Well, I mean, you assume they just look good enough to be practical
yeah.
effects.
But there'd be sort of that local militia fighting the Empire, and so Saul would come in and go, right, I can fight my war here, my way.
They got a lot. There seems to be a lot of. I was always under the impression before this film that Kyber crystal was really, really hard to come by, and they've kind of just got big chunks of it. And if they're using it to power, the Death Star,
They would need big chunks.
yeah, I was just kind of thought it was something that was really rare. But
well,
That's-
they've got all the information from all the Jedi temples with all
Yeah.
the locations, so they'll just have to follow
I
that.
just assumed it was quite rare. Like making lightsabers was quite hard, and because it was really hard to come by these crystals. But I guess if you've got that much crystal, you could just knock out as many lightsabers as you
Yeah.
want, really.
Yeah. Jin's just taken down a whole lot of
Yeah, a lot of
stormtroopers
troopers.
with their stick.
Oh, there goes K2.
Maybe not.
Oh, it's the fake out.
Oh, wait. No, fake out.
Catching the grenade. Excellent move.
It all goes quiet anytime K2SO's on the
Yeah.
screen. We all just got to
Oh,
take
love
in the
that shot.
goodness.
Great shot of the city.
It's nice seeing the ATSTs as well, sort
good
of
old
wandering
chicken
around.
walkers.
And there's a crashed X-wing in the
Crashed
background,
X-wing.
and there's
Yeah.
that never really explained, is it?
No.
I have a feeling that scene might have played out a little bit differently at some stage, perhaps.
Because, like, in the trailers, we saw pilots getting arrested.
Yeah, so I
is-
That was
don't.
more on the first planet we were on, wasn't it? With Cassian? Didn't we walk by pilots?
good question. Not sure.
No. Because they were handcuffed
Rewind.
with stormtroopers. I thought it was in Jeddah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
that
don't
would
know.
explain the crash.
What the crash? Yeah, because it
Yeah.
looks like it's pretty recent.
Yeah, because
like it's sort of smouldering.
smoking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That has to be it. Oh, I love this scene.
Donnie Yen about to just...
There seems to be a few sort of onlookers quite happy to sit there and observe. I've never really noticed them
I
before.
fear nothing.
Oh, the background characters?
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of like, oh, we're going to hang around and watch it, see what happens
Yep.
here, you know.
I love this. We never see it again, but it's just so cool. The focusing on the
Yeah,
sounds.
this is the first real martial arts we've seen
Yeah.
in a Star Wars film
Yeah.
as well.
And
Oh,
really Donnie Yen allowed to show what he can do.
yeah. Now, I know Steele's wife Jackie doesn't like that. Is your foot all right? I remember that from when Steele asked her how she, her favorite scenes in the film. That was one thing I remember that she didn't like. It's like,
No time for quips.
yeah, like you're fighting off all these troopers, and you've hit this guy in the foot, and then you're like, "Is your foot all right?" To me, I love it because you would say that, or he would.
In his base,
And here's Bays with his big
vacuum cleaner.
vacuum cleaner on the back and...
Headshot.
So are they both the Guardians, or is it just Chirrut?
It's just Chirrut.
And he's sort of Bays is just sort of his guardian. Guards
looks
him.
after him. Yeah.
I just realised we talked through K2SO hitting Cassian.
Well, you got to keep the content rolling.
This bit got a big laugh. Putting
Oh, they put the bag over
Oh,
his head.
yeah,
bag
yeah.
on.
I thought you said them coming to capture them. I'm like,
No,
it's not that
I've
funny.
got ahead of myself.
That is a good.
That is a good gag there.
That got a big laugh that first night again. The visuals are amazing.
Good. He's straight out of the original Star Wars, that droid then, the silver one. He's in the Sandcrawler. I mean, you've always got to be a bit worried when the Empire moves out.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, I want to know the story with Jeddah because there's all these sort of religious people there.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like they've really camped that far away from the city, really, do they? That's sort of... It's almost like the distance from Rod Laver to the Arts Centre. It's always that thing about Star Wars, isn't it? You know, like you go to one planet for each thing, and yet everybody's sort of around this little area, always on the planet, rather than miles away.
I wonder if that person there was a cameo, because the camera kind of zoomed in on the eyes, and I'm like, I wonder if that's someone.
No, they've not pointed out cameos.
Oh no, I'm not saying officially. I'm just saying I wonder if that's
like somebody in the production that they've put in.
Yeah. And we just haven't heard anything. Even that guy there looks like Emmett Best a bit. But like there's this one person in this scene, and I'm like, is she from Force Awakens? Where is she?
Well, they're all shot in Britain. They might have a sort of a bunch of people.
That girl there. I've seen her somewhere.
They might have a bunch of people that they sort of they lean on for extras.
And how Details has been in all of them.
Yeah. And,
I'm one with the Force, the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force, the Force is with me. So the second time I saw this, Rogue One, I was in Sydney because I'd flown up to Sydney for Steele's Rogue One podcast. And so I met some people up there, and then after the podcast we went to a local movie and watched it there, and when we came out it was just pouring, and we were running through the streets and with the wind going, I'm one with the Force is with me, I'm one with the Force is with me.
Is that hoping to get to your car?
You should have been one with an umbrella or
just
something like that.
Running through the streets.
Ah. So it's sort of like a good, like, wish us luck, hope we get there.
Good little mantra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people did make fun of Saw's. You're here in my house.
He makes some interesting choices, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This, Forrest Whitaker. Academy Award winner Forrest Whitaker. I know he definitely won. We don't have to look up Wikipedia for that one.
Still, you can understand him more than Bane in that Batman movie.
Oh, Bane's not that bad. Once you've watched the movie multiple times and have subtitles on.
Well, we do have the subtitles on for people listening at home here, so we haven't got the volume up too loud.
But yes, early on, he's not like that.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of footage on the cutting room floor of Forrest Whitaker doing some different stuff. It's just I know they'll never release it, but these movies that have been reshot, and do you think you just really want to see the other stuff and see what they hopefully one day that they'll just be like, yeah, look, time has passed enough now, we'll just show it, if you're curious.
Oh, we are. Yeah, I want to see it. And
put it on the Disney streaming service.
Yeah. Extras.
Speaking of that, I've heard that they can't put episode 1 to 6 on their streaming service because of the rights are still owned by not Fox, another broadcaster, their TV broadcaster.
Okay.
Their streaming counts as a TV sort of network.
Oh, is that in Australia or everywhere?
In America.
Oh, so even though they're going to buy Fox, they still can't get all
they can't put them in. They can put the new movies in, like these ones.
Yep.
But anything from 1 to 6, they can't.
Oh, that'll really annoy them.
Until their contract runs out in 2022.
Oh, that's not that far away.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that out recently, and I thought, so we're not... Because, I don't think we're going to get the streaming service straight away, as they will, because of rights of, Netflix has got this movie.
Like Foxtel, the pay TV's got a bunch of stuff as well.
Things, so...
Yeah, but the streaming service will have Clone Wars.
Oh, well, yeah, it'll have that.
Yeah, and all the other Disney products.
All the contracts for what they've done and what they're streaming, it won't be there straight away.
I love that upside down Death Star shot. Or at least different perspective. Now, we kind of suspected that Tarkin might be seen coming into this movie, but did we ever think what a major character he would be?
No, I thought we might have got some reflections or some back of the head stuff and,
a hologram.
Yeah, maybe a hologram. I thought they might just CG him, but I didn't think that he would be, definitely I think he's in this more than he's in Star Wars, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys find we saw too much of him in this film?
No.
And then that's what brought the criticism, like, his mouth, the digital effects.
No, honestly.
I just get lost in the performance. I don't see anything else except I'm watching.
Yeah, I have a bit of an eye for, or maybe it's just that disbelief, where I still do feel there's a bit of a CG thing, but I'm just like, doesn't worry me. I'd rather have that than, than not have him in it at all, and certainly come a long way.
Yeah.
Some CG characters work better. It's always humans are always,
it's
like KTSO is as much a CG character as Tarkin
I just look at him as
but
a
you
real
can't
robot.
tell because it's the human nature to be suspicious of something that shouldn't be there. And that's like you said, Catherine, when people didn't even know the difference or didn't care that who it was, they'd just be like, "Hey, there's a dude there. It doesn't my brain doesn't trick me because I know the logic behind it."
See, the funny thing is, I think on the cinema screen, it was harder to pick, whereas on your TV now, it's probably easier to pick.
Oh, yeah, because it's got that smooth motion.
Well, we are watching. I know I don't have smooth motion on.
Oh, you don't?
No, there's no smooth motion. I'm a purist on that, so we're watching no smooth motion. We're on we are watching the Blu-ray on a 75-inch television, but we are sitting back enough so it's not right in our faces. But the detail is quite impressive. You'd want to be.
That must be just the quality of the film then.
Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, the only bummer is that we obviously, because we're recording, we can't crank the sound bar right up.
Of course.
There's always next time when we can just watch it without the, without the recording, and we can give it some proper stick.
And we're in the message now, and it's
Galen,
moving.
Yeah, I do love this scene.
It breaks your heart, doesn't it?
It gets a bit emotional, yeah. Love those dudes' helmets.
Now, apparently they are a cameo. I think one's Ryan Johnson.
Oh, in the helmet?
Wait, what?
I think.
Well, Gareth Edwards is in Last Jedi.
Last Jedi,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
We sort of wondered whether she'd made any attempts to try and track him down before then. But
Well, no, she was angry at him.
But I think, she was hiding with Saw Gerrera, and also, in a way, the only way she could keep going was to almost convince herself that he was dead.
I don't think she was hiding, because he just said, "You're coming with me, I'll teach you things," and then she's like...
Well, the way Saw lived
dumped me.
is effectively hiding.
Well, they were still fighting, though, so she could have got captured, I guess. I love he's
Mendo.
proud. He's so proud.
So how do you feel about that Galen is the one who sort of made it easier for the Death Star to be blown up?
Yeah, good. They explained a big,
The fact that they would just overlook something,
really, that's the movie?
Yeah, especially given the time period that they're like, the rebels go, well, we know we're specifically looking for something that will blow it up because we've been told, not just go, we've got these plans and we've got,
15 minutes
to figure out how to blow it up.
Yeah.
Oh, the shadow.
My Stardust. The eclipse. The place I've laid my trap. No, I think it's really good.
I love how he reacts and she's just too caught up in the moment.
surely he can probably be more specific in his message, couldn't he? Couldn't he just say there's a big trench and it goes around the whole Death Star, and if basically you fly to the end of the trench, the exact port is right at the end of the trench, you should be able to find it pretty easily. Because that's all the information that they need to know, isn't it? Because he's already said there's a reactor model. If you hit the thing, it'll cause a chain reaction. He only had to record another couple of minutes. He's like, well, I guess maybe he was like, I don't want to get too specific in case someone else sees it, and then they shut it down. But I guess if they already see that, if anybody in the Empire saw that message right now, they'd be like, all right, well, we better have a hunt around for something that's going to... I don't like picking out holes and things. I'm not going to get on my YouTube channel and start picking out holes.
Oh, yeah, we get enough of that from other people.
That's right.
Now, the actor who plays Baze apparently had to learn basically everything phonetically because he doesn't read English.
Oh, so someone had to say you need to follow the, like, was it Dolph Lundgren who didn't speak English? There was some actor like that who didn't... Or was it, there's a couple of who didn't speak English. It might have been Christopher Lambert or Dolph Lundgren, even both of them in their early roles basically couldn't speak English. They had to be like, you must say this, and like, I must say this.
I think Baze, the actor who plays Baze, can speak it, but he probably can't.
Well, his English is in his first.
No.
Yeah,
we
so they're
saw that
probably
at
also...
Celebration when he spoiled...
what did he spoil?
He spoiled Chirrut, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, you didn't watch the live stream?
Oh, I mean, I don't think I watched the highlights. I don't remember the specifics.
Yeah, no,
but...
he's like, I think even still talked about it. That you look at Alan Tudyk's reaction, and he's just like,
"Shut up, dude!"
Ooh, and Gwendolyn Christie, I think she was hosting it.
Here it
and
comes.
like she was just saying,
beautiful.
I think we can just move on from that. And he's like, "What?" And
so
and
we've just had
moved on.
Mendo.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Being very happy about his beautiful explosion.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were talking.
That's okay. We can rewind it. So should we touch on the cult of Mendo and why all of this, Mendo talk comes out of...
And I'm wearing merch tonight.
So obviously it's all come out of the Steel Wars podcast where he was a champion for Ben Mendelsohn. Obviously is an Australian actor. We're all from Australia. He's actually from Melbourne. We're all Melbourne. We're recording in Melbourne right now for our international listeners. So it really started with that, didn't it, of having an Australian actor in a prominent role in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Having said that, we did have 2 other Star Wars movies that were full of Australian actors.
Yeah.
Rose Byrne and Joel Edgerton and
Jack Thompson.
Oh,
Jack Thompson. I think I'd have to look up the thing anymore. There's Damo from Home and Away.
Oh, yeah. Was it Claudia Carvin?
Claudia Carvin,
in the deleted scene.
Played Padme's sister.
Yeah.
Graham Blundell, he was another one. Elvin, son of Elvin. Don't look that up at work. He was in that as well. So, but I think, that was a long time ago now. And, Ben Mendelsohn's become a pretty good star in his own right now. And having a Melbourne boy on the poster and things it's a pretty big deal.
Very good.
There is some fantastic imagery in this, isn't there?
Yeah. It's like art.
It gets pretty close in the end, doesn't it? Those explosions.
And here it comes. The strut. And then the shoulder brush.
Oh, yeah, cop that.
Yes, you do, Tarkin. Apologise.
You're writing dialogue, are you?
Yep. And all Mendo wants is to be noticed by the Emperor.
Funny how he does this sort of with everybody watching as well. He's like, I don't care.
My achievement.
I like how he sort of grinds his teeth and
Yes, just the fury behind him, the pent-up fury.
So he
And the
basically
cape.
goes to dob on into Darth Vader, doesn't he, really?
Yeah. I love the cape. It's fantastic.
I like this radio guy.
And I do like how all the rebels will have a bit of a 70s vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of moustaches.
Yeah, well, like original Star Wars is filmed in the mid 70s, in Britain, and they've got as many pasty looking British people that they can put into these with bad mows. To
Big sideburns.
Yeah, big sideburns, big ears, the big book of British smiles, all that kind of stuff.
But it's funny in Australia, in Australian movies, Mendo, he played a lot of good guys, pretty much good guys, and yet in American things, he seems to be bad guys.
I guess his breakout was Animal Kingdom, wasn't he? Where he was like a real dirtbag.
Yeah, that was like the major role. But before that, he was like.
Well, I was talking to Sizzle for our next episode of my podcast that will be out way before this does. Talking to Emily Lind from Canto Bight Dispatch, who's a big Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh,
fan.
she's huge.
And she's been going through the back catalogue and things, and
she has a shrine.
Yeah, she said that there's quite a discrepancy in the different roles and things that he plays, and earlier on he's a bit more of a knock around guy kind of thing, and then obviously he becomes the bad boy.
Yeah.
But she likes the bad boys. Our friend Emily, she's quite happy with the bad boys.
She likes the villains.
That's right. And then Riz Ahmed is
Riz Ahmed does a
a
great
British
job.
actor as well. So there's quite a few British actors. It's actually a very racially diverse film as well.
Yeah,
And Riz
very
Ahmed's obviously
multicultural. Great to see.
very multicultural cast.
And with Diego Lunga, he had his natural accent, his Mexican accent.
They didn't ask him to do
Americanise.
Yeah, that's right.
I just remember him as I think he was the one of the airport guys in that Tom Hanks movie, The Terminal. He was wanting to ask one of the girls out on a date, and
Diego Luna.
Yeah, he's in that. I saw him on the credits.
Oh, and at the end he finally does.
Yeah,
I think I have seen that. That's a remake of a French film, I think. I think I've seen both.
But yeah, I just see that guy because that's all I knew him from. I'm like, hey,
Hang on, not from Dirty Dancing to Havana Nights, like Catherine's.
The Terminal. Well, that's good to see.
I always like in Star Wars movies when they're traveling through hyperspace and you can kind of see it flickering in the background while they're sort of chatting away, through the windows and things. There's a little bit in Last Jedi, which is quite good, where the ship comes out and Leia's sort of sitting there and they kind of go, like the brakes kind of stop and it sort of just slows down onto the thing.
That's a great scene.
It's crazy to think we don't get any hyperspace lines in any of the prequels.
Yeah, because we don't.
There isn't any in. There's a little bit of hyperspace movement, but we never get the star lines in any of the prequel films.
I haven't watched them in a long time. Need to go back.
Long time.
A long time. Right. And now we have Krennic going to go dob on Tarkin.
Just fuming in his shuttle.
It's never a very comfortable.
He's off to visit
off to
Galen.
Edu first, isn't he? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I've just spoiled the film for everybody.
What do we think of having the information in the screen about what planet we're on?
Yeah, it's good.
Is it one of the few?
I think it's the only one.
Yeah.
Did they do it in Solo? I'm just trying to remember. They had a little blurb at the. Did they have the planet names in Solo? They had a little blurb at the start going like, in this time of the galaxy, people, there's good, people do what they can to get by.
Once or twice.
But did they actually have the planet names? They didn't have like Kessel or...
I thought they did.
Mimban. Did they?
I only
Maybe
saw
they...
it twice, but...
Oh no, I think the Blu-ray is
3
out
times.
in about 2 weeks, so I'll know in about 2 weeks' time
Rewatch.
when we do our solo commentary. I think it works just because I guess there's so many new things, and you can't really rely on.
Yeah, that we're going to a number of
it's such
places.
fast pace, like.
Yeah, but I guess Force Awakens had a whole bunch of new planets and never explained what planet you're on. Someone always just said, this is Jakku.
We're on Jakku.
You kind of wonder whether you would need to know really would it really matter, but...
Yeah, Force Awakens, there was Jakku, Maz's planet.
Takodana. Is it Dakia? Was that where the Resistance base was? Dakia?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Starkiller Base.
Starkiller Base.
And Hosian Prime. So obviously, when you sort of obsess over those films, you pick them all up eventually. But yeah, I don't know. Again, it was obviously licensed to try some different things, and
I think it does work here because again, we're moving to so many different planets.
Yep.
So the rain's coming down pretty hard here on Edu.
Do you think they were saying, "I'm with the force is with me," as they're running back to their car?
Oh, it would help. Yeah. Cassian doesn't look very happy about what he's going to have to do here.
Yeah, he's kind of got the weight of the world on his shoulders, hasn't he, really?
Yeah.
Poor old
I'm
Captain
sure
Cassian.
it knows.
Yeah, and sure it knows what's up.
Thrilling music playing.
Yeah, we do have we've got the subtitles, but we've also got a little bit of audio, little descriptions of things about music and tone and stuff. So we're getting a few message of dramatic music playing or thrilling music playing or alien languages are speaking. And
I like that.
Yeah.
Alien language speaking.
So did Felicity Jones voice Gina So in the Forces of Destiny cartoons, or was that sound alike? So that's actually her voice?
Yeah.
That's always nice when they come back and do that, isn't it?
Natalie Portman didn't. But yeah, they got Gina, they got Felicity
Daisy Ridley
and
as well,
Daisy,
didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, Day.
And Kelly Marie Tran.
Yep.
Yep. And John Boyega.
Yep. I think Mark Hamill as well.
Yeah.
Playing a slightly older sounding Empire Strikes Back era Luke. I saw a picture of the Empire Forces of Destiny Luke. Oh, it looks so cool.
Yeah. I think he did make his voice sound a bit younger. He's a very accomplished voice actor, though.
He's the Joker. You can't mess around with the Joker.
No.
I like how they have little lights on their little hats.
Yeah. And the poncho. Rain poncho.
It looks like a pretty rubbish place to work, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we only see it now in the rain, but...
Yeah, but you kind of, like they have a nice little beachside planet for just to keep their library of data and stuff. And then when people actually have to work, they just put them in this sort of horrible, rainy, rocky place.
It's very hard to get to and it's secret.
This place reminds me of a level on Dark Forces too.
Oh, there's a deep
Video
cut.
game. Yeah. I think that one. I think it's when Kyle Katana's yeah, because he's in that Legends, he's the one who steals the plans. I think, yeah.
When I had Kat's brother on, we were talking about Solo. I think in one of the books, Han Solo's girlfriend before Leia was involved in stealing the plans as well in the books.
Well, I think, yeah, because he did have like a co-pilot and it might have been her. I'm not, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, that's
all that kind of stuff. I mean, I know it's obviously not canon now, but yeah, that always kind of gets a bit lost on me. Which one's which?
Mm.
Do you think this is normal procedure when Krennic comes or line up ready to meet him?
Well, they're being told to... Oh, Krennic's on the way, come out.
But is that normal?
As in, does he sort of pop in on the regular kind of thing?
Yeah,
I
and
would
is it then normal?
If it's a checkup.
Normal to
Yeah,
to
and
greet
it's a
him.
special occasion when, like, we'll see, he comes out and goes, did the demonstration, whatever.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how often he turns up. You know, if it's just like, oh, he's here again. You know, if it's his baby, he probably does come pretty regularly to check up on things. But you think they'd put a, you know...
See, there you go. Excellent news.
Like, just go inside. It's raining, you know. How about everybody come inside and get out of the rain for a bit? You want everybody to get a cold? He has kept his little parka that he's had for many years, though. Although he's probably got a whole wardrobe of them.
Yeah.
I already know the engineers are like, this is not right. Why are we out here?
Yeah, I have a feeling it's not quite protocol. I think that they're a little bit worried about why they've been dragged out amongst all these stormtroopers.
Yeah, maybe the stormtroopers coming out, but not so much the engineers.
And Galen knows it.
Yep. Well, as he's the one who conspired with the pilot, he's worried.
It's a bit of a risk shooting all your... I mean, you've got your Death Star to work and stuff, but you don't want to shoot all your staff right away. You know, it's kind of going, but, you know, something might break down or not quite work, and you go, no, I've just gone and shot all the scientists.
Well, you've got to think there's got to be a lot of documentation and all the plans. You know, they're all on Scarif, and so all of that documentation should be there.
Yeah, like a little user guide kind of thing. Like a little how-to, like when you're assembling an IKEA thing or something. It's like, where's the Allen key? Oh, the Death Star laser's fallen off. I need to put it back together again.
And you have to plan for the worst anyway. You know, there could be some kind of accident on this planet and they lose all the scientists. So they've got to plan for disaster.
Yeah. You know, see if they've got some good contingency plans in. No ladies, though. All dudes. Yeah. Empire doesn't seem to be hiring too many lady scientists.
Yeah. A lot of white dudes.
Yeah.
No aliens.
No. Well, I didn't ever... Like, the Empire is obviously very discriminatory against aliens, but I don't think they were... Well, Force Awakens, the First Order has lots of different races and a lot more women and things. They're a little bit more... Even though they're a bit more hardcore in their... extreme in their actions, a little bit more progressive in their inclusion of people and things. But the Empire does seem to be a bit of a white dudes club, at least in these movies. Yeah. Which I always kind of thought was slightly weird because so many planets of aliens, there can't be, like, humans can't outnumber everybody.
Yeah.
I always just kind of thought that they were sort of selling themselves short.
Mads Mikkelsen, like, how great is he?
He might eat you, just be careful.
He's Hannibal to me.
He'll always be Hannibal to you.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about Hannibal last time you were here?
I think we did.
Because we were talking about, so you thought the last series wasn't as good as the other ones or something. Was that correct?
No, it's just they rushed it because
they didn't really know whether they were going to... Yeah, right. X-Wings.
So they had to rush the story, which is a shame.
Cool shot of the X-Wings flying through.
Yeah.
Yeah, great shot.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah, I could watch X-Wings fly all day.
And some Y-Wings. My faves.
Y-Wings are your favourites?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, they're my fave. Even though they'll be slow and
they were the bombers?
Possibly defenseless on their own. I
used to play the X-Wing video game, like the old one years and years ago, and that was always the heavy bomber was the Y-Wing. I do love how they have Blue Squadron in this.
Yeah.
And how they basically all eat it, and then that's why they're not in the Death Star run.
Which is a shame.
Krennic Days being pulled from the explosion.
Yeah, at least he's got some good employees who'll kind of help him out and want to watch his back. I'd like to think that there are other death troopers everywhere, but I do like that he's kind of got the squad. You don't really see other guys walking around with them, but he's sort of...
Just nailed. TIE fighter. It's awesome.
It's nice seeing the X-Wings with the headlights on as well.
Yeah.
I love seeing those death troopers do a little bit of a pose before they get on the ship. There they go.
They must have been loving it, those guys in those suits.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you can either be a stormtrooper, or if you're a little bit taller, we'll put you in the cool black death trooper outfits, and you can
Has got
your stuff.
movable elbows and knees. It's far more.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit more a little more slimming.
Yep.
I think Eric talked about it in one of the Bad Motivated episodes, that it's easier to cosplay as a Mandalorian because lots of parts are just cloth.
So it's a bit more bendy.
Yeah, so with the troopers, you have lots of plates and things.
Yeah, I feel like I've never
Stardust.
cosplayed or anything like that, but I feel like Stormtrooper would be fun for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you just be like, oh man, this is actually really hard to get around in.
Clinky. You can't sit down properly.
Like, everybody would love to be an extra in a Star Wars film, but you kind of go, I think I'd rather be a rebel pilot rather than clinking around in a Stormtrooper outfit. But you might get to see your face as well.
So here we have the emotional scene of Galen and Jing seeing each other for the first and last time. And now he's passed. Yeah.
Sort of, Papa, can you hear me? I just watched Deadpool 2 the other day. There's a little gag in that about that. Sorry to bring down the tone.
Crossover.
So she does just leave him there, doesn't she? She'll sort of go back.
Oh gosh, his leg. Be uncomfortable.
There might have been Death Star plans there as well, wouldn't there? If they're all working on the Death Star plans, on the Death Star, wouldn't there be plans at that facility as well?
Maybe the complete plans?
Yeah. You sort of go, well, how many copies of this thing do you have? Do you just have them in a... I just think about the way that we store data, and it's so easy to, do you just have them in this one spot?
Yeah. Because, this is sort of the analogy I've always heard comparing Star Wars and Star Trek, is that Star Wars is like with really advanced hardware, but software hasn't advanced much, whereas Star Trek is far more software has advanced heaps. And yes, hardware's advanced as well, but it's more that sort of software versus hardware. So they wouldn't have like cloud computing here in Star Wars.
Yeah, well, you could just email it. You could have been like the Death Star plans. I'll just pop it in an email and I'll send it over to you, or I'll dump it in a Dropbox folder. Obviously, that doesn't make for a very interesting film.
Yeah.
And this is sort of where the tension sort of ramps right up, doesn't it?
Yeah, because she knows like what he was planning to do.
It's so funny that most of the merch and figures of Cassian are of him in that blue jacket he's just taken off.
With the goggles.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Yeah. Or at least, not with goggles on his head, at least with the blue coat with the fur around the hood.
Which is quite similar to Han's Hoth one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're sort of at each other's throats a bit here, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's where he tells us his backstory a bit.
Yeah, I just feel like we could have got so much more Cassian, really. There's so many more. I really hope they sort of dip into his, But he has been involved since he was 6 and all the stuff he was up to. The young Cassian adventures.
But I want to see him making some of these decisions that, he's not entirely proud of. And yes, I want another movie with Diego. Because look at that man.
Give him a...
He's quite right, though. He's just like, hey, man, I'm just doing what I got to do. Like, I'm sorry if I might have had to do that, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah, we're in a war. We have to do what we have to do to survive.
He's kind of looking around. He's sort of in, like he's in a room with a bunch of randoms that he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
That he has actually no real authority over as well, because he's not the cat. It's kind of like, you're all sort of strays that I've picked up along the way here. You're not really, And here we are. Back to Mustafar. So there's a Darth Vader run at the moment in the comics, which is just getting into how Darth Vader gets his tower.
Oh, sweet.
So the next issue is just about to drop that, basically, because it was interesting, because the whole theory was that the Emperor kind of sent him there because it's the worst places, kind of like keep him in line.
And to taunt him, like, you can go there.
But in the last comic, he has the Inquisitors, and basically he has to kill 2 of the Inquisitors because they start a relationship, and he basically has to chase them through Coruscant to finish them off. And the Emperor's like, hey, man, you can't just keep chasing people around causing all this damage. We're trying to, show that we're in control here. So I want you to move them off planet, and you can, get your own facility somewhere. And where do you want it? And Vader actually says Mustafar. So he actually suggests that he wants to go there. And there he is hanging in
it the place he considers his birthplace in a way?
Well, yeah, it could be that.
Reminder of
Hayden Christensen, do you think?
Jumping on.
I wonder who that actually is in there. If it's just a stuntman or an extra,
I was looking for Hayden. I'm like, is it Hayden?
I mean, that's a lot to ask Hayden Christensen to come in to shoot from the back and things. But it must be, who is it? Is it just a stuntman or an extra or somebody, or is it Ryan Johnson? Is that his other cameo?
Or the guy who was in the Vader costume?
Yeah, David Prowse. I think he's sort of.
Well, it wasn't David Prowse here.
No, of course, no.
Well, I guess it might have been the guy who was in the costume now. I don't even know. They did kind of miss a trick, sort of. They should have kept it under. They should have kept him under wraps, Vader, shouldn't they? Really?
Wasn't it the guy from Guardians?
Dave Bautista?
No, not part of the main cast. It's in the jail. You know the guy who's listening to Star-Lord's tape?
Oh, right.
In the jail, that big, tall alien dude.
Really?
It's that actor.
Oh, okay.
From what I've heard. Yeah.
We may have to have another Googling session.
Yeah. It's the classic New Hope.
Oh, the cape's wrong. Looks like a Halloween costume.
Yeah, the neck. It's the neck that does me.
But I think I think you're looking at because this is the exact replica of the New Hope one. So I think you might be thinking Return of the Jedi Darth Vader, because the costumes do slightly change.
They do, yeah.
Because I have a feeling they've just been so slavenly to the 1977 one.
It just looks a bit too clean and fitted. I like it when it's just casual and just...
Smart casual.
Smart casual Darth Vader. Where he's got like a little pantsuit on or something.
Friday.
Casual Friday, Vader.
It's just, just sitting on him, not really tight.
Yeah, I feel like that might be just how it looks in the OG Star Wars, and that they've kind of just gone like, we've got to keep it as close to that.
I'll have to have a look. Oh, here comes the dad joke.
Oh, choking out Mendo. He does a great job here.
You've got to feel like that must be his favourite day, getting to act opposite Darth Vader.
Oh, I thought you were saying his performance of choking. I'm like,
but I just mean the whole
completely
the whole thing,
sells it.
Yeah, and there's the dad joke.
He must have just been annoyed he got woken out of bed, really, Darth Vader as well. Or
Yeah, here's
and there's
one of
the
our
green
smirk. Yep,
yeah.
I got him.
I've got him. Oh, my favourite. I have lots of favourite scenes, but this is probably my favourite. Tops of them all. Because it has one of my favourite off-screen lines.
What is she proposing?
That's the one.
I thought you were going to start gushing about General Radis then for a second.
No. But Radis is good.
Now, there is a comic that does suggest that Radis didn't make it. and I have tweeted that comic to Stephen Stanton, who did the voice for Radis, and he was sort of, don't be so sure. So
Excellent.
I don't know whether he has any authority over the thing, but I'm sure, like the rest of us, he doesn't want to give up the dream that we might see Radis again. So if it's good enough for Stephen Stanton, it's good enough for me.
Yep.
This guy's a jerk. And the Sherlock guy. The medical examiner.
Space Jimmy Smith's giving everyone very significant looks.
And nods.
So Blue
There
Squadron...
it is. What is she proposing?
Sorry, I interrupted right on the moment.
No, that's all right.
Blue Squadron get to wear blue flight suits, but Red Squadron wear and Gold War wear orange. Like, where's the red and where's? I know Poe Dameron's in the are a little lean towards the red a little bit more, but would have been nice if Gold Squadron had a nice little gold flight suit. But they've obviously in 1977 they just all went down to the warehouse and bought a bunch of overalls in bulk down from wherever they bought them from, Spotlight, Bunnings Warehouse or something like that.
Too many people there voting.
Yeah, too many cooks.
You shouldn't discuss things in a committee.
I am not a committee.
General Syndulla.
There you go. There's a little rebels.
More rebels.
But there's no other aliens. So obviously, Syndulla is a Twi'lek, but
I think they
don't see any alien apart from the Moncal. There's no other aliens at the table there.
No.
I think because in New Hope, you don't see other aliens with the rebellion. They have to keep it consistent.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That makes sense. But sort of like, oh, there's one. It's part of the crew, but
I like him. He's cool.
Yeah, so we see the spies, assassins, the real hard-edged
saboteurs. Is there a better? If you get to be a saboteur, nothing better than being a saboteur.
So if this was a World War II movie, this would be the Dirty Dozen.
Sure. Yeah. Could be something.
The
saboteurs, assassins.
The lot that going behind enemy lines, like the Bridge of Navarone. Yeah. You seen that one?
Oh, yeah. So I didn't know you're just naming movies.
Look at that, beat them off.
Great.
That's a good speech.
So about this stage in the film, did you really think that none of them would make it?
Oh, no.
I think walking in, I was like, everyone's going to die.
Really?
Yep. I was prepared for it. But I wasn't prepared for liking the characters quite as much. But I think I was prepared for everyone.
I mean, I kind of thought, well, none of them turn up in any other films. Okay, maybe. But I was going, well, that's no reason why they couldn't, just because, when you see the rebellion in New Hope especially, it's kind of just the pilots. So they might necessarily be pilots. They might be on the ground anyway or doing other stuff. So
I think I walked in prepared for them, but it didn't prepare me. I think in my heart there was part of me was like, some of them have got to survive.
Yeah, I just kind of thought, well, they might want to do another film if it's successful, or they could do other things, or you could merge them into comics, and it would be cool to see Luke and Han and Leia interact with these characters and things on other missions, but it doesn't tie it up in a neat little bow. You don't have to worry about sort of loose ends.
Yeah. But I think in terms of the characters, I think they knew at this point it was probably or possibly a suicide mission. The chances of them all coming back were not high. But I don't want to tell people the odds.
they seem a little bit ill-prepared for the eventuality that they might just go rogue, considering they just had this big meeting and she was pretty insistent they've got to do something, and nobody thought to keep an eye on her or see that she might go do something silly. But they're like, oh, well, we settled that. Well, you can just go home and do what you like now.
After all, they're rebels, and I rebel.
Yeah, we didn't get that line in the film.
So she doesn't rebel.
No.
She rogues.
She rogues.
Oh, and he's like, uh-oh.
He's like, I'm not bothering to check that, Rego.
Slacking on the job, mate. And that was really confirming that Bale was on Alderaan when it blew up, doesn't it, that line?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Leia.
I do like that they're able to reference Obi-Wan and Leia without mentioning their names, but everyone knows who they're talking
And
about.
kind of leads very nicely into...
New Hope.
Exactly.
And I think even naysayers of this movie will admit from this point onwards, the movie kicks up a gear and it's just unrelenting action.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, it does have dips and troughs and things.
Yeah.
And I think if you sort of sit and kind of watch from the start, you kind of get to a point where you're like, oh, yeah, I could probably just zip past that if I've already seen it before. But yeah, this is all pretty much unmissable stuff. And I just love the OG Star Destroyers.
Yeah, they're good.
So I don't know. I have to double check the extras on whether they used some models, or I think they definitely referenced the old models and things. I don't know whether they used any of them. It seems like they would have been doing it all with computers. But there's a stormtrooper outside. Look, he's walking out into space. He's walking out in space there.
Space Trooper.
Yeah, I guess so. Where's the Black Series of that one, Andy?
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We're gonna get to all of them.
But yeah, no, I've never noticed that.
No, I just noticed him then. I'm just like, oh, that's interesting.
And I love this concept of a massive gate to let people in.
It always reminds me of the air gate in Spaceballs.
Oh, yes.
Whether the Spaceballs come with a giant vacuum cleaner and suck up all the oxygen through the gate in the
That's right.
in the thing. I do have a soft spot for Spaceballs.
I think we all do.
I guess it's one of those ones that if you watch it, maybe it's best not to watch again. It might not be as funny as you remembered, but I think it probably still has some good moments in it.
I just like we've got to comb the area and they have these giant combs.
Yeah.
You found anything? We found
shit. Yeah. That still makes me laugh.
Oh, gets me every time.
Here we see the first building on
Did you see
Scarab.
the call sign for the ship was SW 0608? So 06 was 2016, but then it's the 8th Star Wars film.
Oh.
SW08.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's a coincidence. I'm not quite sure what the 06 might have been, but the SW08, obviously, whether that's a little connected at all, I'd have to call up Gareth Edwards and find out whether that was true or not, or whether I'm just really got my tinfoil hat on.
I think get a screenshot, red circle.
I know. Anybody else spot that one? It's never occurred to me until I've seen this film with subtitles now.
There's some really good speeches in this movie.
But they're not speechifying, if you get what I mean. They seem real.
No monologuing?
Yeah.
Oh. Motivation.
Yeah, but they sort of sound like people. Like not this, how Hollywood will write speeches and they're very speech-like. Here they sound like what people actually sound like.
Oh, so not like at the Independence President speech.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I was
So
thinking like,
she's delivering this speech, but it's not full of
Well, it's very
grandiose.
intimate.
It's not full of grandiose ideas. It's about, right,
This is what
we've
we're
got a job
doing.
to do. We'll
Yeah.
just take one step than the next.
There was a sound effect then, you guys, sorry, we're just talking to each other. Just after Gin's speech in brackets, it just said, men agreeing.
Oh my god.
We need a screenshot of that one.
Screenshot
And
of
then
that
like
one.
anytime someone on Twitter is going, oh, this
Men
is
agreeing.
Men agree.
Oh, wow. It's a pretty good one, actually. We'll have to go back and check that one. So I always thought if I was an extra in this film, that's probably where they would have put me, one of the scruffy rebels
So
standing
you
in the
can
background.
never know. Is that? Are you sure that's you? Yeah, I think that's me.
Well, that's better than having a stormtrooper helmet on your head. Really,
SW0608. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be a short trooper. They're
I'm
cool.
not quite sure where what the 06 is. I mean, I don't even know if any of it's got any significance, but if it had been 1608, it would have been a little bit easier to crack. This always reminds me of a little bit of, hey, can you give us a hand down here?
Yeah, that's it.
There's always a few unsuspecting suckers in Star Wars films who kind of get knocked over for their outfits. There's a lot of sort of standing around in the ship, isn't there? Like he's kind of, do they just all stand in silence? If there's, those death troopers kind of, when they don't really talk, how long do these trips take? Do you need to muck around on your phone or read a book or, because it doesn't look like a very comfortable sort of,
No.
at least the Falcon, they've got places you can sit. They've kind of got the chessboard and the,
And now we know that there was a bedroom at one stage with a fantastic cape-filled wardrobe.
I assume there still is a bedroom on the Falcon. It's probably just not as nicely kept. It's probably just a bit dishevelled.
Yeah, full of other machinery
Lots of
and bits and
vests.
pieces.
Good to see a strong Irish trooper. So you got that strong, very British.
Oh, I think he might be Scottish, actually.
Oh, is it
I'm going to
Scottish?
pull my UK experience here. And I think is that Melchi?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be a
He's
Scottish accent there,
I thought
mate.
he was Irish.
But I have to go back and double check just in case. But hello to all our Scottish and Irish friends.
Yeah, hello guys.
Here we go, the aborted. I've got a bad feeling about this.
This is a fun level on Battlefront 2 to play as well.
Oh, if you ever got a chance, you never get to choose where you want to play, and sometimes you never get to play it. But yes, when you did, it's great.
But I just have to say, how fantastic for the cast to be able to film in the Maldives.
Oh, is that where it was it?
Yep.
I was always like, is it like Vanuatu or is it, yeah, it's not a bad place to,
Spend a few weeks
no.
shooting a Star Wars film. Can
Where's
think
that
of worse
water
things.
go?
Did they ever release a black series of Cassian in the Imperial uniform?
No.
I think that only is the one that's in the, now that is the Canary Wharf train station that I used to, just where we are now, where I used to take the train to work, when I worked in Canary Wharf in the UK. It's actually, there's sort of escalators up the middle there that they've covered bits with, but all that structure is all there, and the concrete and the glass on the right and things is all part of the train station. It's a
I'll
really
be sure
cool train
to
station.
check it out when I'm there next. Next
Yeah, I
month.
mean, you'll go, oh yeah, I guess it looks a little bit like
Yeah, I'll see if I can get a compare photo.
Yeah. Yep, so that was my train station when I worked in Canary Wharf for a couple of years. I actually used to take the bus there, but I did take the train occasionally.
They've just had the line
cool.
about the T-16s. Did we like that little Easter egg?
Oh, well, it's the one that's continued on. I
Yeah,
think,
from,
every film?
well, about the conversation in New Hope.
I don't think it's in Empire.
No, it's really just New Hope.
Jedi.
It was just New Hope.
And there's one in Force Awakens, isn't there?
Yeah, and that was the gag from New Hope. But
That's like the new model.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think there was one in Jedi.
no.
And Last Jedi, too, because we hardly saw any troopers.
Oh, yeah, there aren't really many, are there?
No.
Never really occurred to me until you just mentioned
very
it.
character heavy. Until until Finn and Rose get caught, we don't see many.
Empire Strikes Back doesn't have that many. I guess they have the snowtroopers at the start, don't they?
Yeah.
And a couple at the end.
Yeah. It all happens at the end. I love those.
It does look like a nice place for a holiday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether when you're off, you're not on your shift, or you can go have a swim and stuff like that, but I'm not quite sure how the Empire operates, but...
Yeah.
I love the look with her eyes like, what?
It was very convenient that there was somebody that short who had a uniform that she could slide right into, really.
Yeah.
I'm not even quite sure is she supposed to be is it a pilot outfit?
They're the people that, when aircraft are landing, land.
Oh, you're just like waving the wave or something. Ah, yeah.
Is that that's what the batons are.
Yeah, they're lights.
But I think, these guys definitely know their diversionary force, so they know that their lives are expendable. Are we blind? Deploy the garrison! Mendo again proving how competent he is and just awesome.
Shore troopers.
Now, surely
So cool.
Cassian gets rolled for not being clean shaven. Surely the first person just like, hey, scruffy looking Imperial officer, you better get the...
I never thought of that.
Razor out and like straight away, wouldn't you be suspicious
You're not part of the protocol.
what's going on here? At least go have a shave, mate.
Yeah. So cool, the shore troopers.
Have you got a Black Series shore trooper?
Yep, and figure arts.
Oh, you got a figure arts one?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So good. I want to get a Hot Toys, but I can't afford it. Well, I can afford it.
The guy who's about to go on a European holiday in a couple of days. I can't afford it.
It's just like, there's no point.
You can afford it, but you've got to explain it. Yeah, there's nowhere to put it.
Maybe when I find a place to live.
Yeah, when you and your lady get all that sorted out, you can get a nice little study like I do.
Because, shore troopers are just... they're the best.
So he's kind of hanging at the back, though, isn't he? He is sort
he just killed a guy.
He is, but Cassian is sort of hanging behind KDSO, so you can't really tell that he's...
but, he basically just killed that guy.
Clonked him on the head.
Clonk. Would have crushed his skull.
That radio operator, he's full 70s. Like...
with the moustache.
He always reminds me of my friend Michael. He looks a bit like my friend Mike. He looks a little bit Noah Taylor as well.
Yeah,
He really
that's
does.
what I thought. I think on the night I was like, is that Noah Taylor?
You'd be a bit bummed if you were Noah Taylor and then Ben Mendelsohn, who's sort of the very similar career paths, and all of a sudden,
definitely
one's Krennic and you're just the radio man and mustache radio man.
I still think Noah Taylor should have got, an Oscar for what's that movie? Shine.
Was he the young David Helfgott?
He was the young David Helfgott.
And Jeffrey Rush was the older.
Yeah. But Noah Taylor had to show the descent. And so I think that was the better performance. Controversial from
write
Catherine.
a letter to the...
to the Green Guide.
Yeah, to the Green Guide. And there's 3PO and R2.
Yes.
Which is not a terrible cameo. I probably would have preferred to just see them in the background on the ship at the end.
Yeah, because I think seeing them here on Yavin then brings up the whole question, well, how did they then get onto Leia's ship?
Well, I guess they just
They just got on board.
Because they haven't all left yet. So that's okay. I'm okay with that logic, but I was kind of
is Leia then on Yavin at this point?
No, she wasn't there. She was...
elsewhere because Bale had to get her.
Because when they arrived, that's when she would have been elsewhere, and they would have told her, "This is where we are. You need to come here right now."
Yeah.
But if the ship is at Yavin, where R2 and 3PO are, Leia is either on the ship now,
Oh, yeah, how did they... Yeah.
So either she's on the ship, but she's, in Rebels it's established she does stuff for the rebellion, so she's probably been to Yavin for plenty of times. So, and all the people seem to know her.
Yeah.
So
and she probably would be there.
Yeah,
she's
no
probably
problem
just
with
there.
her having been
She's
there.
like,
but-
we need you to get there. You need to go to Obi-Wan's via Scarif. I don't know why. Why is she even... Like, I suppose you've got to pick up the plans and then you've got to go to Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. It's so funny.
But her mission was never to pick up the plans, though. It was always to get Obi-Wan. So why is she even there?
Yeah. Let's not question it. We're questioning it too much.
Oh, but I guess the ship is actually attached to the bigger ship, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause it escapes.
Yeah.
So perhaps they're just like, we'll drop you off. We'll go there and then you go off and get Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yes, best not to question.
Right.
Best not to question.
Yeah. It's just awesome seeing these walkers coming out of the clouds.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
Oh, and this is one of my favourite bits in the whole film. When we get Gold Leader and Red Leader.
There's the ghost.
Still haven't seen it.
Oh, Blue Leader.
Gold Leader.
This is where Catherine started to cry. I never knew how much they meant to me, Red Leader, Gold Leader.
Oh, I love that guy.
That was
they
my favourite
appeared.
surprise of the whole film, having them in them.
Yeah.
That was a huge surprise. And
Now, one of the actors is still alive and one of them is no longer alive.
Yeah.
Gold Leader, but I know that the one he was alive did record a new line or a couple of new lines.
But they used a lot of just footage, like extra footage that they had shot for New Hope, and they'd just cleaned up, which is awesome. Oh, and I love the behind
the camera angle.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah.
And I also love the how we saw in behind the scenes.
No, I always thought
footage.
that this pilot who crashes in reminds me of his face. When I saw the ad, I'm going, that guy looks a bit like you, Andy, but now I don't think he does now that I've looked at it on the big screen. But I remember seeing the ad for the first time going, that guy looks a bit like Andy, but
no.
No.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Yeah, the behind the scenes footage of the actor playing Blue Leader getting into his X-Wing the first time and just the delighted giggle.
Oh, and and that behind the scenes slow-mo. Yeah. Because, that was that celebration. Yeah.
He was pretty chuffed. Did you go to the X-Wing that was in
The city?
the city?
No, didn't get a chance.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It wasn't here for very long, and it was long, like during the week. It was
Yeah,
very
I think I went past on a
frustrating.
tram one time, and I was a bit sort of like, I don't really have time to, queue up for 45 minutes to. I don't know how. I don't think it was particularly detailed either.
No, it didn't look that good to me. It looked basic.
It was a basic bitch of an X-Wing.
Yeah, whoever did the paint job. I like this. But another thing Stills mentioned is like, why are there walkers there? It's a security place. But then it's like, well, they're still dropping off crystals, so
Transport them.
Yeah, you got to transport them somewhere.
And, security to protect the database.
Well, yeah, I guess that this is where they keep all their secrets. They've probably got every kind of conceivable security that on the.
Yeah.
Just imagine them as very big guard dogs.
Very big then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it's this easy to knock down walkers with X-Wings, why didn't they just do that in Empire Strikes Back? But I think these are supposedly different shields, aren't they? Yeah, I think someone's already...
'Cause those are cargos, the others are armoured.
Yeah, I'm sure that's already been corrected.
There you go. I love that dude's beard. Oh, so cool. I like how Bodhi just has a plan for everything.
But Bodhi knows.
Doesn't seem to be understanding what's going on.
Yeah,
though.
people are just like, what? He's just like, oh my god, it's like Saw Gerrera all over again. Yeah. Listen to me.
But Bodhi knows, right, we're not going to get out of here alive.
Oh,
but
you think he knows that then?
He knows.
Jeez.
But he's trying to sell it to the rest of the rebels, right, we have a way out, but he knows the importance is getting the plans out.
Now, is Radis a puppet or is he CG? Do we know? Or is he a bit of both?
It's a puppet, because I remember, I think Stephen Stanton mentioned that when he was doing the voice recording, he was watching the performance of the guy.
God, look over the planet. It's just beautiful.
I think that's how it was done.
Ah, right. I mean, they might have always sort of like CG the mouth a little bit, like the lip articulation, but yes, that was actually
another space monkey.
Yeah, attacking the knees.
Oh, that's a good explosion there. I like that one where it splits in half.
Oh, there goes the wings. That's cool.
And this is like a proper old school library, isn't it? This is like, you know, we used to have to learn the Dewey Decimal System or something like that to try and find a book.
And then the microfiche.
Yeah, it is the microfilm. When I used to work for my parents years ago, they used to have all their tractor parts things on microfilms, and you'd have to slide the thing across to get the parts listings before it was all on computers. And it was very old school.
Yeah.
But again, it's like you were saying before, Catherine, it's sort of that old new tech, but old school tech. They still do some, you know, things very... I think he probably could have talked himself out of that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think he was a little bit too quick to start throwing dudes around than KTSO, but anyway.
I don't think he's very good at really making up stories.
So I think socially he's just not...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not his bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not his programming.
Yeah, I think that might have been the new lines that was recorded because obviously he references the Shield Gate.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, fleet of TIE fighters. Of course, we start to see some female pilots in the rebellion.
There are, and there's sort of, you know, some people of colour in the rebellion as well. There's a couple of, which is good to see.
Oh, Melshi. You're awesome.
It's sounding pretty Scottish to me there. We all went quiet then for a second to try and hear what he was saying.
Oh, Merrick, that's Blue Leader's name.
It seems like a lot of the rebellion were just sort of itching for a fight, really.
Yeah.
It seems like the first time they've actually, you know, had a chance to get in there and engage.
Yeah. A real, you know, front fight. And you sort of get that feeling with Rebels.
And here's the old Red 5 who eats it.
Yep. And why?
He looks like a little bit of a wet sock anyway, doesn't he? Yeah. Doesn't he look like he's a bit of a liability? Like, oh, go old Red 5.
Why Luke can become Red 5.
Hyperspace tracking.
It.
Took them another 30 years to get it to nail it.
Mm.
And there's those little
weird
wedgie tires that kind of never really were mentioned again.
No, that's like one Lego set. I'm like, no, I'm not actually. I don't like it. I just didn't like the look. It's a weird design. Like the flaps go up and
feels a bit expanded universe-y, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, and it's just like you don't need another different tie. Like,
well, again, I think that's another one of those. That's another one of those sort of things. I think was changed or might have been a little bit different.
And
here's some of your boys, Andy.
Yeah, it's true.
Black Saber. Ooh.
Now, is that Black Saber? Is that this one we saw in Rebels with the Mandalorians? Or was that the Dark?
I think that's the Dark Saber. I think Black Saber's an EU thing, isn't it?
Mm.
That's why I need some more hardcore EU.
Oh, I love those rifles. They're cool. Awesome in
battle. It looks like they're wearing like little shorts almost.
Yeah.
I do like the sort of the blue and red on there as well.
Yeah.
It's good use of the colour.
Because that's how you can tell their rank.
Ah, so you're all over it.
Yep. I think. So funny, they would have had to make something like this.
Yeah, you wonder if that's a practical thing that they've built, or it's a model, or if it's just all CG, or...
You know, they definitely felt like the handles and things felt very real.
Oh, I'm sure they were, but that's sort of the actual big thing as well, whether that's a...
Well, they climb up it.
Yeah, that's true. They do, don't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
so it must be... Yeah, of course.
At least part of it.
And there's the end of poor Kate here, so...
Bye, my friend.
Until we meet again.
Yeah.
You think a guy as smart as Krennic would have wondered why they were here at all, really? Like, wouldn't you think that they were... Like, it's kind of like, oh, they're picking a fight, but... You sort of wonder what their motives were.
Yeah. Yeah,
They're already trying to destroy the shield gate, aren't they? Why do they need another message telling them to destroy the shield gate? Isn't that what they're already trying to do?
But...
Or do they sort of just say, actually, it's more crucial you've
They
actually...
need to open the signal, though.
Yeah.
I know, but he gets the signal because at the top they're already trying to... They're talking about trying to knock the shield gate out.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's telling them, look, we can send you the plants. It's
Oh,
not
so you don't
just
necessarily
about,
have to come down. You just
Yeah.
have to knock a hole out of it.
Yeah.
So it can, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because, at this point, they're
Oh,
like,
no.
no.
Here goes Blue Leader.
No.
That sweet mustache.
But
He could have ejected. But then I guess even if he managed to eject, they blow the planet up
Yeah.
later. Spoilers, but... It would have been really hard trying to run and fight on that beach.
Yeah.
Like if you ever run on the beach just when you run into the water, it's sort of hard. Now, yucca, but having all that gear on, and imagine running around in a stormtrooper costume on the beach.
Yeah, the Death Troopers are really the only ones that can hit targets.
Yeah, they're actually hitting. Yeah. Oh, Melch does get hit.
Yeah, Melch gets hit.
Does he cop it for good, or does he not die on screen? I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, it does. It takes him a while.
They get him.
Slow, probably blood loss.
Oh,
I'm a bit
Oh,
grim.
no.
That's very graphic.
Cauterizes the wound.
Well,
in the novels, it was always flash burn that you would get in your heart if you got killed by a laser. Why do they need to get changed? Is it just because it's a little bit easier to sort of scale things?
yeah, it is a bit curious. They've got the uniforms over top of their normal clothes.
Weird place to put a master switch as
Yeah.
well.
Always that guy.
And that looks...
What do you reckon the storage on one of those things is? Do you think it's like 500 megabytes, or it's like a zip drive, or it's not very high end graphics? Do you reckon like they need to have those huge, like our big floppy disks, or?
Yeah, because it looks like, the tape backup that you get for servers and things.
Like a big old school magnetic tape kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not flash memory or anything that advanced.
Oh,
It's like when you
man.
could get
The forces with me.
Commodore 64 games on tape.
Yeah. Oh, this scene gets me.
I'm on the forces with me.
especially with the music. We haven't spoken about it. Michael Giacchino only had 4 weeks to do this score. Did
he do solo? No, that was someone else.
No, that's John Knoll, I think. But yeah, because it was originally Desplat, but because of the reshoots, he couldn't score it, so they got Giacchino in to do it, and he only had 4 weeks. I think he did a fantastic job.
Is he the heir apparent, you think, to Star Wars music?
I think he would have to be. He's done a lot of work for Lucasfilm. But there's also the guy who does Rebels and Clone Wars, and that's really good too.
So Johnny Williams is coming back for one last hurrah, and then
yeah, that's it.
He's retiring.
Yeah. Oh,
He finds his faith again.
so touching.
Yeah, we don't want to. It's a touching scene.
And then the dramatic music is playing according to the... So these Moncals aren't orange, they're from a sort of a different side of the planet, is it?
different part, yeah.
And there's some Y-wings for you.
Oh, so cool.
The ion cannons.
Now, this was something I was not expecting to see.
No.
This was very cool.
But I love how Radis looks down.
Yeah, that's so
He's
cool.
like, oh, you're under me.
Hammerhead.
And that was in Rebels, isn't it? There's an episode of Rebels where they get those ships, I believe.
We see them. Oh, there goes my bearded friend.
Oh.
And there goes Bodhi.
I think this was the moment where I went, oh, actually, none of these people are going to make it.
Me too.
And they sort of started picking them all off this early.
I think Chirrut was when I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't think they're all going to make it. Well, actually, no, I thought Jin would.
It's a big gun.
Whoa.
It's a bit like, oh, man.
Yeah, saying goodbye.
That always reminds me of Empire Strikes Back. That little door opening of when Lando rescues Luke from the Falcon, and it sort of has the shot of the thing opening up on the top. I know it's and the sunlight kind of comes through. That always reminds me of that little bit.
Oh, so cool.
I mean, they look like models there, don't they?
Yeah.
It's so cool. So here's the Hammerhead. Just pushing that destroyer. There's not many rebel ships left.
So obviously this bit with Jin up on the tower here, the big thing in the trailer was that the TIE fighter kind of swooping down in front of her. Was that sort of confirmed of just been done purely for the trailer and was never in the film, or was that just sort of a cover?
Gareth came. I think it was the spoiler special with
the Empire one.
Yeah, he said it was just a test of concept of they could do something like that.
Right.
Like proof of concept.
Which is a bit weird.
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe that because like surely they could, but also that doesn't seem like that would be that hard for Eileen.
Exactly, yeah.
Like you kind of feel like they could do that with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I quite buy that.
Yeah, no, the guy, I know, I didn't really buy it, but yeah, the guy asked him, like, the one with Jin and the tie, he goes, it was really just a, proof of concept we could do something like that. It's like, oh, okay. And like she does get shot at by a tie.
There it goes.
Oh, and there it goes.
Slicing the destroyer.
So like, it still gets involved.
Jeez.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this music probably didn't need that then. Just have the silence. But yeah, there you go. See, she gets involved with a tie.
No, well, I think originally before they reshot it was that she physically had the plans. And there is that footage in some of the trailers where she's got the thing in her hand on the beach and she's running through the beach with, so I always, and even in the Battlefront game, the mission is to basically get the plans from one end of the beach to the other onto the ship and then you get out of there. So I feel that she might have been up on the tower to do something. Maybe,
and then she got down.
It was coming up here to shut down the shield gate from here or something. Maybe that was what they were doing. But and then she physically ran it to the ship and got off the thing and maybe made it in one piece. But who knows? We'll never know. Don't tell them.
Nothing but time. Oh, Mendo's loving these words.
Who is?
Mendo, he loves
He just loves being bad.
Here it is. It's beautiful.
Oh, my favourite piece of the score. Father would be so proud.
And that whole shield just coming down. Transmitting.
If she's broadcasting the whole fleet, wouldn't you think there'd be more than one place, one ship that it would go to as well? Is that the only ship left?
That's weird. He says leave it. Shouldn't be.
It's like kick him off the edge of the thing.
Leave
just,
him.
Just
leave
like
him.
roll it, kick him a bit, and let him fall off the top of the tower.
It's weird that he says it. It's a dude. Oh.
He says a few. There's about 20 ships there. Like, shouldn't they? Can't they all just get it?
Oh.
I don't know. I don't want to be Mr. Nitpicker. I like the film. So
here comes the Death Star. It's amazing though he's willing to just sacrifice the whole of Scarif.
Well, they can just change the story saying the rebellions dropped a bomb and they did that. And everyone would just believe them. They don't care.
So is this where everybody thought they were going to smooch?
Yeah.
Look at those eyes. Yep.
I remember saying in my head, don't.
Where I was like, kiss.
Really? Oh, no. Yeah, maybe in that shot his eyes were a bit too red, but...
It's just some of the little... Feels like the facial movements are a little bit too pronounced. But again, it's that thing, if you just see a normal human face do that, maybe you just... then Mendo cups it right in the top of the tower.
Yeah, oof, vaporized.
I did a video with Steele with this where we put this sequence to the Aerosmith I Don't Want to Miss a Thing song. You can see that on Steel Wars thing. So every time I watch this scene, I just think of that because I had to sync it up. And it actually synced pretty close, but I did do a little bit of editing just to slice, just so it kind of hit certain little beats a little bit.
Just coming in out of hyperspace.
Is the name of this score.
Well, that was another moment you thought it might happen there?
Yep.
No, I didn't think it was going to happen there.
Definitely in the elevator.
Yeah.
Well, he's got very smouldering eyes. Those dirty dancing Havana
Those
Nights
Havana
eyes.
Nights eyes. Maybe he could just take her for a little bit of salsa or a bit of cha-cha or whatever they were doing in that.
I like this one.
God, it still hurts.
It's interesting that there is actually a little bit of movie to go, really, isn't there? That
Yeah.
you could have really just ended it there. Like, obviously, it still kind of does pay off,
But
even more so.
we
But,
wouldn't have got a certain scene.
well, that's right.
So cool.
I really like this just when it ties right into to the original movie, just the
so
art design, seeing the ship, and I just love that.
These silly helmets.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Revenge of the Sith. At the end of Revenge of the Sith, when they go onto the ship as well, and you go like, that really just feels so. That feels more Star Wars than anything else.
Oh, here we go.
So apparently, the day they shot this, Peter Jackson was on the set.
Yeah, Peter Jackson was there for it. So cool.
I would like to
This is
see
where it turns
Peter
into a
Jackson
horror
do a
movie.
Star Wars movie. Would be great.
God, and the music.
Yeah.
That would have been the first thing I would have done.
There's Gareth.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he pulls the handle.
Ah.
Yeah.
So the ship was attached to Radiss's ship the whole time.
Mm.
That always felt a bit more like a prequel-y shot.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other bits looks a bit so much more old school, but that always looked a bit more prequel-y shot. This just looks like you're just
This
watching
is a New
Star
Hope.
Wars. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
amazing. So I would have preferred to have just seen 3P and R2 roll it back and
Roll
Yeah,
there,
that would have
yeah.
been great.
I find it weird that she just stands there.
I actually think this Carrie looks very good until she kind of lingers there.
No.
There's just a little bit of too much of a linger. Her mouth does a bit of a weird, yeah.
The teeth, yeah.
And there you
And
go.
there we go.
Theme
Directed by
music
Gareth
playing.
Edwards. John Knoll and Gary Whitta.
Produced by Kathleen Kennedy.
Well done, KK. So, closing thoughts, guys?
This movie still holds up very well.
It's a weird experience watching a movie. This is the first commentary I've ever done before. I've always wanted to do one, so I'm actually thanks for inviting me along. It is a weird
Thank you
experience.
for hosting.
Happy to do so. But it always is a weird experience, sort of watching a film and having to talk over it. But I
'cause
guess
you just want to
I just want to watch it. There are a lot of, just watching it now, just going, there's just so many bits where you just want to be quiet and get sucked into the film.
Yeah. Catherine?
Yeah, well, God, I love this movie. So I also remember the first time seeing it after Carrie died, and I was seeing it with my nephews, and the bit where we saw Carrie, I cried a little bit, and my nephews held my hand.
Aww.
But yeah, no, it was different. Like after she had sadly passed away, seeing that scene was like, oh, because like I got a bit emotional. I think that was the third. I think it was my third session.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? You kind of wonder whether they actually would have continued on if it happened a little bit earlier and things. But, obviously we've still got one more Carrie Fisher performance to go. So we've got that to look forward to, which will be exciting. And, I'm just assuming that her one line in this was just sliced out of You're My Only Hope. Anyway, they've just cut the end of that off. But, no, it still definitely holds up. So,
it's great. And with all the talk of reshoots and all that, I think it is a great movie.
Better than it should be.
Yeah.
Which I guess is what we said about Solo as well, given the troubled production things that it has. And
that was a troubled production. Whereas here, they never took Gareth's name off the movie. He was always involved.
Yeah, he was pretty chill about it.
Yeah.
Because it was their story to tell anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's ridiculous to put criticism onto Lucasfilm because the effort that they went to make sure that there was a good film on both of these spin-offs, considering they've had difficulties sort of cracking the story. There's details.
L1.
Special acknowledgement to Peter Cushing.
OBE. Order of the British Empire. There you go. All right, well, thanks for listening if you've made it this far.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed our first commentary.
So a lot of credits here. A lot of credits.
You get to hear the full Giacchino score. It's great.
I don't think there's any secret scene at the end, is there, guys?
No,
we don't get Samuel L. Jackson at the end, or...
Oh, gosh, it'd be great if he just, there's a scene who goes, all right, this may have happened a long time ago in a different galaxy, but...
I want you all to join the Avengers.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about the Avengers Initiative.
You can all join.
Then the people who think Mace is still alive just would not shut up.
They'll confuse him, but it's like, I have a goatee, I'm not him.
It's a different guy.
Yeah.
Now, how many people did you know who went to see this who didn't work out that it was set before New Hope?
I don't think anybody. I think anybody I went with who might not have known that, I think I told them before.
Yeah. No, the people I went with, they...
Well, not...
Because they knew it's before A New Hope. So that's, they knew that.
So I didn't go with these people, even though I'd been talking about Rogue One probably for, 12 months leading up to the movie. When they went, they still hadn't twigged that it was set before New Hope. They were very confused. They're like, how come there's another Death Star?
So after Force Awakens, they thought this was a continuation?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
But they saw Vader and...
Yeah, and they came out confused until I saw them the next day, and I was like, dudes, I've been saying it's set right before New Hope. They're like, what? And I said, yeah, I've been saying that for 6 months. Oh.
So they would have been looking for BB-8 and Rey.
Yes.
And that.
Yes.
Well, I guess if you just looked at the poster and there was a, young brunette chick on the poster, and you're going,
if you don't know, yeah.
It's like, I've been talking about it all these months. Come on, listen to me.
Oh, Tom Bell. There's the other props. Tom Bell was a guest on Stills.
Oh, he was too, yeah.
With details.
There you go. It's funny you have an eye for these names, and then you've had them sort of...
Yeah. So he was a props, I guess, assistant or something. But, we should close up here.
Go see Rogue One if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if this is the first time you've watched it, go back and watch it again without us talking in your ears. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Where can we find you, Josh?
Oh, yes. StarWarsSpelledout.com's got all our stuff on it. That's probably the easiest place to find all the links to the podcast and the socials and stuff. So just find me there.
Awesome. You can find me at That Geek Andy.
I'm at Catherine_Kneen, and we're at That Geek Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Mm-hmm. You upload pictures of stuff to there, like your Lego builds and things to.
Oh, and anything
Instagram.
geeky, really.
Yeah.
Or even today news and stuff.
Yeah. And your Insta's worth a follow, isn't it?
The Star Wars Spelt Out one. We got it's usually just little odds and sods and things, cover art, stuff, purchases and things. And have a look, have a follow. We're on there. All the links are on the website. So, feel free to have a listen.
All right. Yeah. See you later, guys.
That Geek Pod will return.